Okay, good evening, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me loud and clear. I just reloaded my system. And can we all hear me? Hello? Okay, I'm sure you can hear me. So we will proceed with class. All right. I don't know if we should chill for others to join us. I know we have about, is it louder now, Esther? Please, can you confirm? Okay, thank you. Where is everybody? Oh, they think my system will not resurrect. System is alive. Oh. I'm an IT person, so I fix my system myself. Still on break? No. I think we should chill for them for a bit, and let's just chill for maybe about 3 minutes and see if they will join. If they don't join, then I guess we'll just proceed with those of us who are here already. So let's just chill for them a little bit and let's see if they will join. So please just stay on the line, and don't worry, I'll give you music so that you can be listening to music just for about 3 to 5 minutes.
your voice, sing it one time. Your name is Yahweh. Yeah, your name is Yahweh, my Yahweh, Yahweh in heaven. Yeah. In heaven. Wherever you are, lift your voice and bless your Father. Come on. Your name is Yahweh. Your name is Yahweh. Call him. Your name is Yahweh. In heaven and the earth. Yes, you are. In heaven and the earth. Yes, you are. Call him. Your name is Yahweh. I call you Yahweh. Hey, in heaven and the earth. Yes, you are. In heaven and the earth. Yes, you are. So your name is Jesus. Your name is Jesus. Yeah, your name is Jesus. Your name is Jesus. In heaven and the earth. Oh, in heaven and the earth. Yes, you are. Hey, your name is Jesus. Your name is Jesus. I call you my Jesus. In heaven and earth. Yes, you are. Hey, in heaven and the earth. Yes, you are. Lift your voice and man. We give you glory. We give you all the glory. Yes, Lord. We give you all the glory. In heaven. Yes, you are. In heaven and the earth. Yes, you are. Hey, we give you glory, oh God. 'Cause
All right, welcome to class, everyone. Guess this is everyone that we're going to see here this evening. We hope others will be able to join us later. I'm sure we can all hear me and clearly. So thank God my system has been resuscitated. At least I don't have all my softwares there anyway, but I'm going to install them over time. I just quickly installed the ones I know are very, very important for me. So we will proceed with class from where we stopped last time. Again, sincere apologies that we could not hold class for like 2 days. Please pardon me. So for that reason, we will be having class tomorrow, please. Let's not forget, we're having class tomorrow, 8 p.m. Even if it's just for an hour, let's just try and have that class so that we can make up for the days we've missed, okay? So tonight we'll take about 2 chapters as well and see where it gets us. I uploaded about 4 images on Google Classroom, and I dropped a message on the group that we should all download those images, that we're going to be using them tonight at some point in this class. All right, so today we're looking at chapter 38. We started from chapter 1 and now we are on chapter 38. We only skipped one chapter that has to do with JavaScript, and hopefully we'll go back to it, but right now let's just move on, okay? So that does not stop us from covering other areas that we need to cover. I like to say this, that there are some things that you may be seeing that you may not grasp at a point. And then that's why it's important that you go back to the recorded videos that we post on YouTube, or the one I posted directly to the group. Let's always try to go back and listen over again. Don't look at that, 2 hours, 1 hour plus. I can't do that. Just take your time, because the truth of the matter is whatever knowledge you have that you get, it's your own. Nobody will take it away from you. It belongs to you. So I don't think it's too much for you to spend your data or your money to try and acquire the knowledge. After all, this program is actually free. So spending money to buy data to download these videos or the materials shouldn't be something that is too much for you to do. So if you have not been going back to watch the recorded video, even if you attend class, always try to go back, watch the recorded video, even if you have to, brush through it. Please always try. When you listen to something over and over again, it gets to stick more to your brain. And most importantly, as you watch the video or as you're in class, try to practice and write the codes. When I say you write a code, make sure you're writing it and trying it at your own end, because the more you write, the better you become. And that's one thing with coding. The more you write, the better you become. All right. So that's my quick encouragement for us. As my prayer that we will all succeed. I mean, the set of you that I have now, I believe, are the serious-minded ones who really want to make something out of this. Don't be surprised that we had about 70 people who registered for this course. We started with about 30. About 40 people didn't even start at all. So we started with about 30. Now we are roughly 12 or so. So I told myself I won't be discouraged. And this morning I was just thinking about it, that even if it's 2 people that remains that I'm teaching, I will, because one thing is important. If you impact just one person, that one single person can impact others, while the impactation can keep going, on and on like that. And that is what is important. All right. So maybe you may know some of your classmates here that have not been in class for a while. You can send them a chat or remind them the class is on, that they should join, okay? And that's the thing with something that is free. I mean, if people had paid money for this, it would have been something on their mind, to do. But I just felt that the truth is I didn't pay to get this knowledge. And I didn't get somebody to teach me the way I'm teaching you right now. I did all I know, self-learned. I learned them on my own, burning data, burning with a candle, just because I want to get it. So let's take it serious. Let's ensure that we get something out of it, okay? And I pray God will reward us better in Jesus' name. Amen. So let's come back to class. Let's leave church. I know today is Sunday. So let's leave church, let's come back to class. So today we continue with chapter 38, and we're talking about HTML layout elements and techniques. So we're talking about the layout elements and techniques that's to do with HTML. And it's something that I want to pay attention on, because it's one of the things that helps you to arrange your website properly. Like most of the websites we see, they have different kinds of layouts, arrangements, like this Zoom admin page. Let me even go to their home page. We'll see things like this header section. This is an header section. Okay, here you have the menus and all that. Your class attendance is up. You can quickly go mark your class attendance if you want to. So this is like the header section. We have the content area, or the main content area, and then we have the this is the main content area, main content area. Go all the way down. This part is what we call the footer. So there are some elements that are there. So this is what we're talking about here. We're going to talk about layout elements and techniques. All right. So let's go to the next slide. Website often display content in multiple columns, like magazines and newspapers. So if we look at this image now, we have this top section is what we usually call the header section. Okay. I'm not saying it's the head section, header section. Head is inside your HTML coding. Okay. This is header section. This is the navigation section. You call it nav section. This is the main content area. And why we have a footer here. The main navigation section sometimes is on this side, it can be on this side. In fact, you can have another section here on this right side, while the main content area is in the middle. So different kind of layout that you can have on, on your web page or your website, depends on how you want to lay it out. All right, how you want to arrange it. You get, so take for example, you want to create a shelf where you'll be putting different things. You may choose not to make all of them of the same sizes or the same shapes. You may have rectangles, you may have squares, you may even have diamond shape on your shelf, depending on the way you want to lay out things there. So also when you're creating your website, you first look at layout first. And remember when I was writing codes in ASP.NET, first thing I try to do is to create, there's what we call, what's that thing called now? Yeah, they call it master pages, master page. So your master page is just HTML documents, and it defines the layout. It's like the parent content that holds every other thing together. So in that master page, you define your header section, you define your footer, you define the main content, you can define your sidebar if you want to define that. If you want to use it, you can define that. So every other thing we now created in ASP.NET, what we call child element or child pages. So those child pages now goes inside the master page, and they appear in the main section. You still have every other thing that you have on the master page appearing there, and then it will appear in the main section. I'll see maybe after I finish with Django, if I can take you guys on ASP.NET using Visual Basic. Maybe. Let's see how things goes. All right. Let's continue. Someone should remind me. I want to tell you the story of how I stumbled into programming, just to encourage one or two of you, okay, and how I grew to the stage where I am. I'm not a professional programmer as such. I don't really do programming, but how I started my programming journey. And I don't do programming because that's not what I do at work. I'm an IT administrator, so I don't do much of programming. Just do programming once in a while, for whatever I need in the office to work with. Okay, so HTML layout elements. HTML has several semantic elements that defines a different parts of a web page. Now, take note of the word semantic, that defines, the different parts of a page, of a web page. Now, in this image to the left, you can see the header, you can see the nav, you can see sections, you can see articles, you can see aside, you can see footer. All right. So those are some of the things you can have on a web page, and some can reside inside each other, depending on the way you want to lay out your page. All right. So the header section, the header section defines the header for the document or for a section. So you can define the header for a document for a section. And yeah, then we have the nav section, and that also sets, that's where you put your navigation links. Just like, let me show you this. Again, this Zoom page, you have this whole thing. This is also a header section. You can put your navigation link in the header section too. So header section can contain different things depending on how you want to create your website. Have your logo here. Okay. Some sites have sidebars. Okay, that let me go into the section myself. This is my account in for Zoom. So this is what we call sidebar. This is navigation bar here. So this is a nav section. To the left side is a nav section. This is the head section. Okay. This here is what we call the main content section, and that is the one that is There are sections here anyway. So they all consist of the main section area, the header, the nav, main section area, there's the aside, there's the footer. So it depends on how you want to lay out your own web page. That is up to you. See the footer section here. So it's up to you the way you want your web page to be laid out. Okay, how you want things to be arranged, how you want things to be presented to your audience or your visitors. So it's really, really up to you. There's no how will I put it now? There are standard ways of doing things, and doesn't mean that you cannot change it. Okay, you can change it if you want. Excuse me, but usually there are standard way of doing things and what to use for what when it comes to web design. Give me a second, please. Let me just take water. Okay, thank you. Let's move on. So the header defines the head for a document or a section. The nav defines a set of navigation links. Then we have section. Section is a section in a document. Article defines an independent, self-contained content. Aside defines content aside from the content, like a sidebar. All right, then we have the footer that defines the footer of a document. We have details, defines additional detail that the user can open and close on demand. Summary defines the heading for the details element. We'll possibly be seeing some of those things in action as we proceed. So layout techniques, there are 4 different layout techniques to create a multi-column layout. Each technique has its pros and cons, which means they have their disadvantage and advantages, okay? Those 4 layout techniques are CSS framework, CSS float properties, CSS flexbox, and CSS grid. What this is just telling us is CSS is very, very important when it comes to web design. That's why we're going to take our time and treat CSS as a module. HTML right now is the first module we are taking. Then we'll take CSS after this. After CSS, we're going to brush up on Python. And once we do the brush up on Python, we then move into Django, where we actually start to program web as it is. Okay, so these are the 4 layer techniques that exist in HTML. So the first one, CSS framework. If you want to create your layout fast, you can use a CSS framework like the w3.css or a Bootstrap. For those of us who may have been working with web designing, you probably have heard of Bootstrap, or I mean, though I have not really used the W3 CSS, but both of them work alike in the sense that they are CSS and HTML codes. However, when you copy their code into your own HTML page, it then forms a layout for you. It automatically forms a layout for you, like something like this. You understand? When you copy their code and just place it on your own what's it called now? Your own HTML page, I mean HTML document, and you save it, then you run it, and it shows up something like this. That is a Bootstrap. That is something that has been created already for you. So it gives you a starting point, you know, to start creating other things, other content that you want to create, and you know where to put them and all that. So instead of you trying to struggle to use CSS, your own CSS knowledge to create the layout by yourself, you can use a Bootstrap. You can use those already made layouts, and then just load it up in your own HTML file, and then you're good to go. All right, I think I used one of them. Did I? No, that's not it. I think, let me see, is it this one? No. I think I've cleaned that. I've deleted the code. It was one I tried to use, so I just wanted to see how it looks like, you know. So the second one is, again, please, if you have questions, put it in the chat window. I'll pick it up from there. Second one is the float layout, CSS float layout. It is common to do common to do the entire web layout using CSS. Very, very common. Okay, CSS float layout. I remember, and that's true because when I was developing in ASP.NET and I'm trying to create my master page, I usually use CSS to try and define the layout of my program. I don't create web websites as such when I'm programming in ASP.NET. I create softwares, web softwares, web applications for use in offices and all that. That's what I usually create. So most likely why we are taking HTML right now, because what I want us to, where this course is taking us to become a web programmer, using Python. And why we're taking HTML course and CSS is for us to understand the basics of a web page, of website or web design, so that when we start to program in Python and Django, we can understand if we want to tweak our design, if we want to tweak something, you want to add a particular element to your page, to display something, how to do all that stuff already when you're done with this first module, which is HTML, and also the CSS module. So that will really help. Because I'm focused on Python, I'm not going to bring in any scripting module into this. Okay, but let's finish the ones we have first. If there's that demand or the taste for it, we can start looking at other web programming areas that will help us, to do better. So float is easy to learn. You just need to remember how the float and clear properties work. Disadvantage is that floating elements are tied to the document flow, which may harm flexibility. And the truth is, yes, when you're using floating elements, I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, Seth, but let me just keep explaining. By the time we start to see the codes, maybe we'll get an understanding of it. Remember when we use float in CSS, in one of our style sheets that I talked about, when you float to the left, it means everything we go to the left. No, sorry, the element itself, we go to the left, while every other thing goes, to the right. When you float to the right, the element itself goes to the right, every other thing goes to the left. I hope I've explained that well. I hope I'm correct with that, because sometimes it's confusing. So the float is good when you try to use it. It's good. Yeah. Thank you, Esther. So let's continue. Then we have CSS Flexbox. The use of Flexbox ensures that elements behave predictably when the page layout must accommodate different screen sizes and different display devices. So what this is saying that if you use the Flexbox layout, when you are displaying your page on a mobile device, the thing tries to accommodate the elements that you have placed on your web page. If you are displaying on a tab, it tries to adjust itself to try and accommodate that. If you are displaying on the computer system, it may not really need to adjust itself, because probably that's where you wrote that's what you used to write your code. So, but when the screen sizes changes, when you use Flexbox, it tries to, adjust itself. Probably that's where the name comes from, being flexible, trying to adjust itself. Then we have the CSS grid layout. The CSS grid layout module offers a grid-based layout system with rows and columns. Grid is made up of rows and columns anyway, and making it easy to design web pages without having to use float and positioning. So that's it. I mean, those are the 4 layout techniques that that we usually use for the things that we need to do. Okay, so let's move on. Now we move to chapter 39, which is HTML responsive web design. Do we have any questions? HTML responsive web design. If you have a question, please just put it in the chat window. I'll pick it up from there. So I explained to us what responsive of a web page means. And what it means is that when you display that same page that you're seeing on your computer, on your laptop, when you display it on what's it called now? Maybe a mobile device, it tends to adjust itself. The layout may change, something may change, and the menu items may collapse into bread. That's what we call, what's that thing called? I've forgotten. These 3 lines that just appears, things may change around. It means your site is responding to the screen sizes, of the device you're viewing it on. So to explain that very well, like this Zoom website is a responsive website. So if I go to reduce, just pay attention here. You can see the sidebar here. So you have everything listed like this on this sidebar. But by the time I reduce this screen size, what happened to the sidebar is that the sidebar collapsed into this drop-down menu. Can you see that? And every other thing also, it seems to have, stack up together, one on top of each other like that. If I expand it, our sidebar appears again. Every other thing appears as well. Okay, so that is responsiveness. This web page is being responsive to the screen size. So when you look at, we'll be looking at something like that right now and see how we can also, do a responsive website. I'm not saying that you're going to do this sidebar becoming a drop down right now. I'm not saying that's what you're doing right now. You can see other menus here also that have turned into something else. I'm not saying that's what you're going to be doing now. Okay. But what I'm saying is basically the basics is what we're just going to check and see how it's being used so that I don't scatter your brain. All right. So responsive website, like I've explained, is about creating web pages that look good on all devices. A responsive web design will automatically adjust for different screen sizes and viewports. All right. I hope we remember viewports while we're talking about the ed section, ed elements rather, at our last class. Okay. So what is responsive web design? Responsive web design is about using HTML and CSS to automatically resize, hide, shrink, or enlarge a website to make it look good on all devices. That's desktop, tablet, and phones, or possibly on a very big screen as well. So that is what responsive web design means, okay? You just create it in a way that whether they're viewing it on a desktop or in a laptop or in a tablet or on a phone, your website will find a way to just display the pages correctly in a readable format in a way that the viewers will still enjoy the page. All right. So setting the viewport to create a responsive website, add the following meta tag to all your pages. We saw that in the last class where we use viewport, in the meta tag, to ensure that our web page kind of appear to be responsive, on all different devices that we have. Okay, so setting the viewport. This will set the viewport of your page, which will give the browser instruction on how to control the page's dimension and scaling. We're going to see an example of a web page without viewport meta tag and the same web page with viewport meta tag. We saw something like this last class. Okay, so we saw this one as a web page without viewport. You can see the way the image is just snapping to one side, to the left side, and the text is just overflowing. That's because there was no viewport meta in the meta tags that are defined. But here, the viewport was defined, and we can see the way it ensure that the image is all the way boxed up here at the top, and then the text is even much more enlarged and it's much more readable. So that's what your viewports can do. Okay. Again, let's remember we're looking at responsive web design. All right, responsive images. Okay, responsive images are scaled nicely to fit any browser. They are scaled nicely to fit any browser. And how do we do that? We do that using what? The width property. The width property, specifying 100% as the width of that image. We tell the image that, okay, the width, the 100% is in response to, or in relation to the screen size. Sorry, please just give me a minute. Let me take water. All right. So if you set your image width to 100 and you're viewing it on a computer, on a laptop, it will show you 100% width of that image. If the image is on a tablet, it will show the 100% size on that tablet. So if it's on the phone, same thing happens. So setting it to 100% width helps your image to resize itself based on the size of the screen it is being viewed on. All right, it resizes itself based on the size of the screen that is being viewed on. That is what we can do with the width property of our image. So as you can see in this code here, you can see the width set to 100. So notice that the example above, as the code above, the image can be scaled up to be larger than its original size. A better solution in many cases would be to use the max width property. Now, what we are saying here is that you can actually set this image size here right now to 200%, 300%, 400, 500%. All right, you can do that to your image. But the truth of the matter is, if your image is not of good quality and you have set it to maybe 500% width, the image may start to look blurry or distorted. Okay, so the solution to that is to use what we call max width property. Max width property for it's a CSS property. So if the max width is set to 100%, the image will scale down if it has to, but never scale up to be larger than its original size. How we understand what we're saying there? So if an image is of a lesser dimension, for example, and you have set it to overscale, 200%, 300%, when the image is now stretched, it becomes distorted, blurry, it's not clear again. So that means the quality of your website is down, it's going down. But if you use the max width, it's constrained that image. Even if you show it on a screen, it won't go beyond its 100% size. That's what we are saying. It's 100% size. So max width is very important. I remember when I'm defining the CSS code for my page, I always specify the max width, Again, if you have questions, please put it in the chat window. I'll be able to see and answer them. So show different images depending on the browser. So this is where we are going to use the images I said you should download. Please, do you have them handy? Whip them out and please launch your VS Code. If you haven't launched it yet, launch it up, create a new page. All right, create a new page. You can name it, picture or different picture or something. Just give it a name. Inside your day13 folder, I believe you've created your day13 folder. So again, create your HTML documents like we usually do. I think there's a question up there for me. Instead of specifying max width will be better. Yes, that's what we are saying. The max width will be better than specifying the width. If you specify the width as 100%, it will keep expanding itself. But using max width, it won't go beyond its 100%, even if the screen is large. No matter how big the screen may be, it won't still go beyond 100%. So it maintains, why that is important is that it maintains the quality of the image. It maintains the quality of that image. The image won't lose its quality at any point in time. That's why that is very, very helpful. So I want to increase the font size of my stuff there. Let's do 24. Okay, I think this is fine. So we have there. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to create a new file here. So I have all my images already in my day13 folder. I hope that's what you have on yours. So I'll create a new file. Again, name it picture or different picture, diff picture .html. Always add your HTML to it. So please quickly create yours. And then we're going to, and then add your, the HTML document structure, as I usually call it. All right, let's code. So we were talking about viewport, and this is our viewport here. Is there, so we don't need to worry. The content is that we take the width, device width. I mean, the width is equal to device width. So the width of elements is also what the device width. That's what it's going to do. Initial scale equals to 1. So come into your body element, okay? Underneath your body element, let's put in this code that we have here, this HTML code that we have here. So let's get coding now. Start typing, everyone. Let's start typing. Let's start coding. Make sure you are coding. This is the picture tag. I know we've not used it before. We've been using image since. For your picture, you can put in more than one images for different scenarios. Okay, so you can see here we have about 3 to 4 images, I think, you know, for different scenarios for this picture. So different, I mean, set of pictures for different scenarios. So, and his own is source set, not just source set. That's SRC set. That's what it uses. Okay, so the picture. Image. So this image is the same. The file name is the same as what you have downloaded. If you didn't change anything, just type everything that you have here as it is, as it's showing on your screen. Okay, so let's proceed. Media. Excuse me, please. Max width 600 pixels. So instead of me having to do that, I just copy this. Please make sure you are coding, please. Change this to change this to image flow. If you're done coding, please, you can just let me know in the chat window. Who is done? I am done. Someone is done. Oh, Busola, hi. Nice to have you here again. Okay, well done, Paul. Well done, Busola. What else is done? You can view it in your browser. So what you do for me, as you view it in your browser, just resize your browser to different sizes and see what happens to the images. So please go ahead and do that and tell me in the chat window what's happening to your own image. Well done, Tosin. So tell me what's happening to your own image in your browser. Resize it small, resize it big. Well done, Esther. So resize it small and big. So put in the chat window what's happening there. Billy, well done. Well done, well done, well done. So just resize and make it large, make it smaller. See what's happening to your image. Has anybody done that? Who has done that? Let me view my my own in my browser. Let's see what we've been doing. So I have it here. When I enlarge my screen is big. This is what it gives me. When I make it smaller, the image has changed. I hope we can see that image changed as I made my screen smaller. Making it more smaller, the image changed again. See what I'm doing? Can you see that? That is what we call responsiveness of the website. So it chooses to display a particular image based on the size of the screen. Yeah. Yes, Sola, thank you. So you choose to display the different kinds of, whatever image based on the size of the screen. All right. So that's an example of what you can do with your site being responsive. Okay, this is for images anyway. So let's proceed. What we're doing. So we've done for image. We want to do for text now. Now, in the same, let's create a new file in our folder here. Create a new file and say, name it text size dot text size dot html. Okay, create your HTML structure. Okay. All right. So create your HTML structure there. And now what we're going to do, let's type in this code in the body section. Then we explain. H1 style font size 10 VW. If you're done, you can let me know. 10 VW hello world. Okay. All right. So Esther, your own is reflecting just one image. Then you may need to check your code. Something may be wrong. When you resize the screen size, it should show you different images. If you've written your code correctly, it should show you different images. Please check your code again. Check your code again. I'm going to copy my code into the browser so that you use to compare to yours. I'm copying it to the chat window. You can use to compare yours. And let's see. Okay, sorry guys, just had to quickly attend to something. Okay, so yeah, I'm here. I just had to quickly attend to something. Apologies. All right. Okay, so if you've typed this, you can do the same thing you did with the picture one. Try running this and then resize your page. So try and view this in your browser and then resize the page. As you can see, it's bigger. It's big right now. I want to reduce it, and then it's becoming smaller. You see that? You see that? Hmm? Now, the reason that is what we specified here. This VW is talking about viewport. That's what it means. Okay, talking about the viewport. Okay, and that's what helps the font, this hello world, to resize itself based on the screen size that you are viewing it on. All right, so the text size can be set with a VW unit. You know, we've been using PT as points when we talk about text size. So we can now use VW unit, you know, which means viewport width, okay? That's where the text size will follow the size of the browser window. It will follow the size of the browser window, just as we've seen here. If I try to reduce this now, it becomes smaller, like that, all right? That's what the viewport width, you know, helps us to do, to achieve. So viewport is a browser window size. One viewport is equals to 1% of the viewport width. If the viewport is 50 centimeter wide, one viewport is equal to 0.5 centimeter wide. You can do the maths, all right? So let's move forward. Media queries. In addition to resizing text and images, it is also common to use media queries in responsive web pages. With media queries, you can define completely different styles for different browser sizes. Example, we'll resize a browser with these three different, let's just quickly write this code. Okay, quickly write this code. Create a new file. Create a new file under a data scene and name it resize div html. Resize div.html creates your HTML document structure. And of course, this is a style. It's a style sheet. So we're going to be putting it in the head section. In our head section. Okay. So we put it in the head section here, inside the head section, not under the head section now. You're going to be putting it inside the head section. So please quickly type out that the CSS code you're seeing inside the style element. So we have dot left. Here we are using the float. You may not type what you have in green, please. You can leave the green stuff. Those are comments. But if you want to still type it, please, by all means, go ahead. Please make sure you are typing. Okay, I think I'm done typing. Are you done? Just let me know in the chat window. Yeah, well done, Busola. So now you probably won't see anything happening here. If you even preview it, you don't see anything happening. So we now go to our body tag. Idayat, well done, good to see you. So going to our body tag, our body element here. I hope you can see my screen. So you type what I'm typing. You create 3 divs. Okay, let's name this header. Nah, that's not what I'm doing. Let's name it header. And create another div. You can just copy and paste. Make sure you create 2 additional divs. All becomes 3. The middle one, name its main content. Main content. And then the last one, you can say, no, don't do this one either. Just say, no, name it this one left, main content, and then right. That's what you should name it, please. Change it from where it was before. I want to wrap this in an H1 tag so it becomes more visible. So your left and main content, your left main content and right, put it in an H1 element, please. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Same goes for right, H1. Okay, so this is what I expect you to have for your own self. Okay, well done, Emmanuel. This is what I expect to have for your own. Now, remember, I'm going to enlarge this screen now, so you can see my own code. So we have our class defined here, left and right, main. All right, then we set that left, right, left, main, right should all become 100% of the page, of the entire page. It should stretch to contain the 100% width of the page. However, we've not used any of these classes in here. So let's do this. Let's say we're going to edit something here, but I just want us to do this, then we'll see how we can achieve what we want to achieve. Okay. So let's do this now. We add a class attribute here for left, name it left. Give your left class attribute. Then for main, we can name it main class. Please, as I'm typing, please be typing yours too. Class is main. All right. For right, let's name it right. Class right. Please remember, this is case sensitive. All these names are case sensitive, so use the right cases. Save. So when you're done, what you do for me, view your code in the browser, run it in the browser. As you can see, this is left, main, right. You can see it. You see the way I arrange them now because my screen is big. When I make this screen smaller, it's going to stack them. Sorry, when I make it smaller, it's going to stack them. Can you see that? Which means this page is now responsive. That's what it means. The page is now responsive. Let me add something here. Make a background color. So a background color. Let's name it turquoise. So we give that turquoise for both of them, and we run this in the browser. Let me refresh this. Gives us, so just so you know where they ended and where they started from. So remember that we said that left and right, their width should be 20% of the screen size, while the main content should be 60%. However, when we are doing our resizing according to the screen size, they should all maintain 100% width. Okay, the maximum width should be 800 pixel, but you can maintain 100% width. So that's why when we reduced the screen size, they all came down to, I mean, they stacked up together. You can see that they stacked up together, but as they are stacked up, they still stretch from one left to another, which means their width is still at 100%. And that is because of what we did here. Okay, you can see it affected both left, main, and right with 100%. I hope that makes sense to us. So who has done it? Have you done it at your hand? My code is still up. Have you done it? Did it work? Well done, Busola. Did it work? Great, great. That's well done. Well done. Okay, so let me see. All right, who else is done? Well done, Grace. Well done. Who else is done? Okay, let me see. All right, well done, Paul. Good to see you. Well done, Esther Ayola. Good to see you too. All right. So let's get back to our slides. Tosin, well done. Emmanuel. Emmanuel, you say yours is not collapsing. You may want to look at this last part of the CSS of your CSS. This last part here, where we have the media screen. You know, it's media screen we are trying to test here. You may want to look at that part and ensure that you've typed it in correctly, and then you can test it. I hope nobody else is having issues around that. Okay, semantics. I'm going to stop where we are. I don't want to take semantics tonight because it's sort of a long chapter, I think. It's sort of a long chapter, really. But we'll take it tomorrow. That's where we'll talk about the article, aside, footer, header, some of the things they contain, what you can put in each of these things. So we're going to see all these things in action tomorrow. I don't want to talk about it tonight, sorry. We'll talk about it tomorrow, please. Okay. But what I want us to do, in your own time, please let me drink water. Okay, so in your own leisure time, please try your hands around the responsiveness. Web design or responsive web design is how do I put it now? Is vast. Is a topic that is vast. What we've just done is to just show you the concept. Okay, well done, Emmanuel. Yeah, thank God you've corrected it. So what we've done is to just show you what the concept is like, okay? And then you can start building upon it. It's actually a vast topic on its own. Like I was telling us some time ago when we first of all mentioned responsive design, said that sometimes you may, in some cases, you may even have to design a separate, you know, what's it called now, HTML document for it. So the website entirely tries to like, okay, view what device you're trying to access the website from. There are websites like that we know that, okay, this is a mobile device. So they just load the mobile device version of that website for you. Of course, they are all pulling from the same data source, but they will just load up a mobile device version for you. If it's on a tablet, it automatically loads up the tablet version for you. And if it's on a laptop, it loads up the full version of the website for you. That's why sometimes you go to a particular website on your phone, you see that some elements are not just there. Some things that you see on the big website are not there. In some website, all the images are taken off when you view them on your phone. You understand? Sometimes the images are just taken off. Sometimes this text are collapsed into I've forgotten the name. It looks like a drop-down menu, but it's not actually a drop-down button where you have the header and then it shows you the details. So responsive website design is vast, and you choose the particular technique you want to use to do whatever you want to do. We talked about Bootstrap. Sometimes people make use of Bootstrap just so that they don't have to code the CSS code themselves. They just want to have it there, and then they go ahead and just continue to do other things that they need to do. All right. So we'll go on tomorrow with HTML semantic elements. Okay, because we're going to be looking at most of these things, and I don't want us to look at them tonight. I want us to sleep with what we've done in the responsive web design and other things that we've looked at this evening. Okay, I just want us to have that concept of responsive web design in our head, so it gives us an understanding. We've looked at layout this evening. I already told us that we're going to be looking at just two topics this evening. Okay, so I said I was going to tell you the story of how I stumbled into being into programming. All right, it's sort of a funny story, and I'm telling you this story because I want to challenge some of us, especially those of us who have the opportunity on a platter of gold, today. In that time when I started, it wasn't, I think I started looking or getting interested in programming. Even I think was it 2004 or thereabouts. So when I got into school, of course, I've always heard of computer programming, but I don't know whatever it is. I remember I saw a young lady who was coding, and I went to her like, show me what you're doing. Tell me what you're doing. She was coding in Visual Basic then. And she was like, you can't understand this, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, I left it. But the buzzword computer programming kept, pulling my interest, like, what's in this thing? What's this about? So when I got into school, I had a friend also who I saw was doing the same thing, coding in Visual Basic. I was like, okay, what's this? And she was like, I won't know this until I get to the level where she is. I was like, okay. But what happened was I took it up as a challenge. The only information I tried to get from her is, okay, what is this thing that you're doing? And she told me Visual Basic. I said, Visual Basic, happy, no problem. And you need to do software. Okay, fine. So that year, I decided to, I remember they gave me my school fees. Please don't do this. So they gave me my school fees. And instead of me taking the school fees to go and pay for my school fees, I went to Computer Village. And those of us that know computer configuration, I want to tell you the computer I bought, the configuration of the computer I bought. Okay, now listen very well. I bought a computer, a Pentium 1 computer system. All right, the computer was a Pentium 1 computer system, and it has a 1 gig hard drive, The memory, the RAM was 32 megabyte RAM. And I bought a box monitor. So those that knows computer configuration, you understand what I'm talking about here. Pentium 1 system, a 1 gig hard drive storage, and the RAM was 32 megabytes. So I went to Computer Village, I bought the system, I took it back to school. School fees gone. But before I left Computer Village, I searched for a tutorial CD on Visual Basic. So I got that tutorial CD. Luckily for me, it was a step-by-step tutorial CD. So when I go home, I set up my computer, installed the software on it, and I started reading. So I printed the book out actually. I started reading through the book step by step as we were doing it. I was doing it as well. That's why I said, as we are coding, also be coding, because that's where I learned. I read the book, I saw the code, I type the code, run it, see what it looks like. Does it look the same? Blah, blah, blah. So I went on like that, spent sleepless nights. My room wasn't a comfortable room, it was a very small room. And we are five sleeping in that room. So where I do sleep is where I set up my computer system. So most time at night when I want to sleep, I just pack up the computer system, I dismantle it, disconnect everything, I pack it up and push it under a table, then I lie down to sleep. So I went on and on like that, doing the coding, continuing like that. It wasn't my level yet to be doing the coding in school, but I started doing it because I had interest in it and I wanted to really know it. So I started doing the coding. To cut the long story short, I went to buy a textbook, and when my lecturer saw the textbook with me, the man collected the textbook and gave me money to go and buy another one. And that was the same book he started using to teach us in class. That I eventually was like, what's wrong with this man? I've done all these things in my hostel, in my room, and came to class and started teaching us the same thing. So to me, it was like I was giving me revision because I had already learned it. So remember the lady I said told me that I won't know it until I get to her level. It now happened that I was the one that helped her to write her own our project code, the software she was developing. I was the one that eventually helped her to write it at the end of the day. So my encouragement for you is don't ever think programming is difficult, you can't know it, or something is too complex. Programming is not complex. The secret is in you following it step by step. Once you get that, then the next thing is for you to be creative with what you do, with how you do it. When you are very creative and you're an analytical thinker, you're a creative thinker, you're a deep thinker, you are able to go a long way with programming. Guys, of whatever language you choose to program in, there are thousands of programming languages, if not millions. But choose the one that you're comfortable with and start doing something on it every day, every now and then. You may not be a tech person, you may not be studying tech in your school, but a good thing about tech is if you can read and you can practice, you can be a tech person. You don't need a certificate for that. You don't need a BSc to be a tech person. Not in this our time, our generation now. You understand? So I want to encourage you, keep pushing yourself. Don't give up. Don't feel discouraged. Even if you've missed class, go back to the videos, go back to the slides, read through them, watch the videos. I've always said, if you have questions, reach out to me. Reach out to me. Even if I have to set up a Zoom meeting between you and I for me to see what you're doing, and then we'll talk around it and advise you what to do. Please feel free to do that. If I don't have time, I will schedule another time for you where we can actually do that together. Okay, I am ready to hold your hand, through this journey to get you to where I think you can get to. My prayer is that you even know it's more than I know today, which I believe it will be. So don't be discouraged. Keep encouraging yourself. You can be great. You can be better in this course. No matter what you think you're reading in your school or whatever you're doing, job you're doing, that may not be tech related, but you just have interest in it because you probably want to change from what you're doing to tech. It's something that I want to encourage you to keep up. Don't ever be discouraged. It's looking difficult. Don't worry. You can know it. Just go back to the video. If you like, you can start from day one and just go through it, like that. You get to know it at the end of the day. All right. So that's the summary of my own story. And I hope you will tell your story to one day by God's grace. All right. So we close the class today. I'll see you tomorrow at 8, please. At 8 o'clock, I want to beg you, please be in class 8 o'clock tomorrow. We look at the semantic elements and we'll get to understand it. Semantic elements tomorrow will be a bit of theory, but we do coding in it too, but not as much as what we've been doing before. I think there's a bit of coding there, maybe more than what I even taught anyway, but there's a bit of coding there. So thank you for attending class today. At least you're a handful today. Thank God for that. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. That's where I upload those videos anyway. I have a YouTube channel. That's where I upload the videos that you've been seeing. The recording of this class, I upload it there and just load the link up in the Google Classroom. It's there as well. Okay, guys. Feel free to reach me during the week if you want to. Okay, the link. Okay, let me see if I can find the link for that YouTube channel. 1 minute, please. YouTube channel. Oh yeah, where are you? Give me a minute. I'll put it up now. It's called 7 Studios NG. You know, I'm a videographer too, so I use everything. My 7 Studios. Somebody will ask, why is it 7 Studios? Because yes, I have 7 studios, 7 things I do. That's why I named it 7 Studios. Okay, let me give you the channel link. And this is it. Loading it up. Check in the chat window, you see it there. That's the channel link there. So you can grab it from there. I also put it in the Telegram group as well. Let me put it there. So it's there in the Telegram group as well, in case you want to pick it up from there. All right, so guys, I'll see you tomorrow by God's grace. Please practice. Don't forget, go and mark your attendance. Practice. Sorry that I've not been giving you some coding assignments. I'm hoping this week I'll be able to give you. I want to also announce that first week of April, we won't be having class that first week of April. I'm going to be at location shooting a movie. So please pardon me. So I'm giving you a break, 1 week break for that week. But what I'm going to try to do, I'm going to put up quiz. I'm going to put up some coding assignments to just keep us busy. So when we're having class that first week of April, please pardon me. I just need to do that other thing, you know. I'm a movie maker as well, so I need to do that as well. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow by the grace of God. God bless you. I'm going to put up a poll. Something came to my mind. I'm going to put up a poll and see if we are interested in it. But that will be after tomorrow's class. All right. So thank you, guys. I pray that all you learned, all you've taught, all you've seen today will stick to your mind, speak to your brain, and you will understand it much more better in the name of Jesus. It will not leave your heart in Jesus' name. Whatever you feel you don't understand, the Lord will bring it to your understanding in the name of Jesus. And this course is not bigger than you. You are bigger than this course. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. See you guys tomorrow, and bye-bye.